Welcome. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and sometimes surprising topic, the relationship between family pets and child development. Many of us have grown up with pets or have children who adore their furry companions. It's widely believed that pets bring countless benefits to kids, from emotional support to improved social skills. But what does the science actually say? Recent research challenges some of our most cherished assumptions. In this video, we'll explore the latest findings, the so-called pet effect paradox, and what it really means for families with children and pets. Let's start by understanding why this topic matters to so many people. For decades, the idea that pets are good for children has been almost universally accepted. Parents, teachers, and even pediatricians often recommend pets as a way to teach responsibility, empathy, and social skills. Media headlines frequently tout the benefits of having a dog or cat at home. But is this belief backed by solid evidence? Or are we simply repeating what we hope is true? As we'll see, the reality is more complex than the popular narrative suggests. Let's look at what recent studies have uncovered about this widely held belief. Despite the widespread belief in the positive effects of pets on children, research findings have been surprisingly mixed. Some studies do report benefits, such as improved social skills or emotional well-being among kids with pets. However, other studies find little to no difference between children who have pets and those who don't. This inconsistency has puzzled scientists and parents alike. Why do some studies show positive outcomes while others do not? The answer may lie in how these studies are designed and what factors they consider. Let's dig deeper into the science. Enter the pet effect paradox. This term describes the gap between our personal experiences with pets and what scientific studies actually find. Many pet owners, including researchers themselves, feel that pets have improved their lives. Yet, when studies control for factors like family income, education, and housing, the supposed benefits often disappear. This paradox is one of the biggest mysteries in anthrozoology, the study of human-animal relationships. It raises important questions about how we interpret both our experiences and scientific evidence. To address these questions, a team led by Carri Westgarth at the University of Liverpool conducted the largest study to date on pets and child development. They analyzed data from 14,000 children and teens in the Children of the 90s study, a long-term project in England. What made this research unique was its size, its longitudinal design, and its careful control for confounding variables. The researchers didn't just look at whether a child had a pet. They considered dozens of other factors that could influence development, such as family income, ethnicity, and parental mental health. The study was longitudinal, meaning the same children were followed and assessed multiple times between ages 2 and 15. Researchers examined over 200 different aspects of emotional, behavioral, social, cognitive, and educational development. They also compared the effects of different types of pets, dogs, cats, and others. By controlling for confounding variables, the study aimed to isolate the true impact of pet ownership on child development. This rigorous approach set it apart from many previous studies. Researchers hypothesized that children with pets, especially dogs and cats, would score higher on self-esteem, language development, and educational attainment. They also expected these children to have lower levels of anxiety, depression, and behavioral problems. These expectations were based on previous studies and the widespread belief in the benefits of pet ownership. But would the data support these hopes? The results turned out to be more nuanced than anyone anticipated. Surprisingly, the study found no evidence that having a pet was related to better emotional health outcomes for children. Despite common beliefs, kids with pets were not less anxious or less depressed than those without pets. The researchers concluded that their findings were at odds with the widespread assumption that companion animals benefit children's emotional health. This challenges a core part of the pet effect narrative and invites us to reconsider what pets truly offer in this area. When it came to behavioral issues, the results were mixed. Most behavioral analyses showed no difference between pet-owning and non-owning kids. However, there were a few exceptions. 3-year-olds with dogs or other pets had higher pro-social behavior scores. On the flip side, in 6 areas of behavioral development, kids with pets actually exhibited more problems. This suggests that the relationship between pets and behavior is not straightforward and may depend on other factors. The study also looked at cognitive development, such as attention and problem-solving skills. With one exception, there were no significant differences between kids with and without pets. The exception was that 11-year-olds with dogs had more difficulty rapidly shifting their attention between tasks. This unexpected finding highlights how complex the relationship between pets and cognitive skills can be, and that benefits are not guaranteed. Language development was another area of focus. 5-year-olds with any kind of pet had slightly better language comprehension scores than those without pets. Additionally, 2-year-olds with pets showed higher nonverbal communication scores. However, for most language variables, having a pet made no significant difference. These small advantages suggest that pets might play a minor role in early language skills, but they are not a universal solution. Perhaps the most surprising results were related to educational achievement. When assessed at ages 7, 11, and 15, children with pets scored lower than those without pets on about half of the educational success variables. For example, 7-year-olds with pets had lower reading, writing, and math scores. Teens with pets were less likely to get good grades in biology, chemistry, and English. While the differences were generally small, they challenged the idea that pets boost academic performance. It's important to note that these findings do not mean having a pet causes lower academic achievement. The researchers suggest that unknown confounding factors might explain the differences. For instance, some parents may get a dog to support children who are already struggling in school. This highlights the complexity of studying human-animal relationships and the need to consider many variables beyond pet ownership alone. Interestingly, the length of time children had lived with a pet did not affect the patterns of results. Whether a child had a pet for a short or long period, the developmental outcomes were largely the same. This finding further challenges the idea that simply having a pet for longer leads to greater benefits for children. The results of this large study are consistent with earlier research, such as a 2017 study by the RAND Corporation involving 5,200 children. That study also found that differences between pet-owning and non-owning kids disappeared when factors like race, homeownership, parental health, and wealth were considered. This growing body of evidence suggests that the benefits of pet ownership for children may be overstated. Many people, including researchers, have fond memories of growing up with pets. These personal experiences can be powerful and meaningful. However, they may not always align with what scientific studies reveal. The pet effect paradox reminds us that our feelings and memories, while important, are not always reliable indicators of broader trends. It's essential to balance personal anecdotes with scientific evidence when making decisions about pets and children. Despite the lack of strong evidence for developmental benefits, pets can still play a valuable role in children's lives. They can provide comfort, companionship, and opportunities for social interaction. As Carri Westgarth notes, pets may help children cope with life's challenges, even if they are not a cure-all for emotional or academic issues. The value of pets often lies in the small, everyday moments they share with us. One area where pets may have a consistent positive effect is in encouraging social interaction. Walking a dog or caring for a pet can help children meet new people and develop social skills. While pets may not directly improve emotional health or academic performance, they can foster connections with others, which is an important part of growing up. Pets can also provide comfort during difficult times. Many children find solace in the presence of a beloved animal when facing stress, sadness, or anxiety. While this comfort may not translate into measurable improvements in mental health, it can still be meaningful for individual children and families. The emotional bond between a child and a pet is unique and valuable, even if it doesn't show up in statistics. Caring for a pet can teach children responsibility, empathy, and routine. Feeding, walking, and looking after an animal require commitment and can help kids develop important life skills. While these lessons may not always show up in large-scale studies, they are often cited by parents and educators as valuable outcomes of pet ownership. It's important to recognize the limitations of research in this area. Human-animal relationships are complex and influenced by many factors, including family dynamics, culture, and individual personalities. No study can capture every nuance of how pets affect children. Researchers continue to refine their methods and explore new questions, but some aspects of the pet-child bond may always remain mysterious. A key challenge in studying pets and child development is accounting for confounding variables. Factors like family income, parental education, and home environment can all influence outcomes. If these are not properly controlled, it's easy to mistake correlation for causation. The best studies try to account for these variables, but it's not always possible to capture every influence. Anthrozoology is the scientific study of human-animal relationships. This field brings together researchers from psychology, sociology, veterinary science, and more to understand how animals and humans interact. The pet effect paradox is a central question in anthrozoology, driving ongoing research and debate about the true impact of pets on our lives. Media coverage often amplifies the positive stories about pets and children, sometimes overlooking the more nuanced or negative findings. Headlines like 8 ways kids benefit from having a dog are common, but they may not reflect the full complexity of the research. It's important for families to look beyond the headlines and consider the evidence as a whole. When deciding whether to get a pet, parents should consider their family's unique needs and circumstances. While pets can bring joy and companionship, they also require time, effort, and resources. The decision should be based on what's best for the family, not just on the hope of developmental benefits for children. Pets can strengthen family bonds by providing shared experiences and memories. Walking a dog together, caring for a cat, or even cleaning a fish tank can become meaningful family rituals. These moments may not always show up in research studies, but they are an important part of family life for many people. For some children, especially those with special needs, pets can play a unique and supportive role. Service animals and therapy pets are known to help children with autism, anxiety, or physical disabilities. While these cases are special, they highlight the potential for pets to make a real difference in certain situations. Losing a pet can be a child's first experience with grief. While this can be painful, it also provides an opportunity to learn about loss, empathy, and healing. Parents can use these moments to support their children and help them process difficult emotions in a safe environment. In summary, the relationship between pets and child development is more complex than it first appears. While pets can offer comfort, companionship, and opportunities for social interaction, the evidence for broad developmental benefits is limited. The pet effect paradox reminds us to balance our personal experiences with scientific findings. Ultimately, the decision to have a pet should be based on what's right for your family, not just on hopes for developmental gains. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of pets and child development. Whether you have pets or are considering adding one to your family, remember that every family is unique. Pets can enrich our lives in many ways, even if the benefits are not always measurable. Cherish the moments you share with your animals and make the choices that are best for your loved ones. Stay curious and keep learning about the fascinating world of human-animal relationships.